still can't give it up. Lead me on, believe before the morning comes. Even though it's what we want, can't keep this up for long. Cause I just don't wanna leave you. Might just throw away the reasons why we both can't lay here. And secrets, both gotta keep them honest. That's just a game, you know, we both can play. For tonight I'm yours, so deny the truth. Or stay behind closed doors. Cause all I wanna do is lie with you, even though it's wrong to lie with you.
Welcome to the program. My name is Karen Karimi, and tonight's guest is 17-year-old Ari Medirata, a performer, songwriter and singer, and released his debut single You this month. He will definitely be singing that to us shortly in the program. Get to know more about this talented teenager later on in the broadcast. You can stream us live on Facebook at TV47 Kenya and interact with us on Twitter at TV47KE. My Twitter handle is Karimi_Karen. This is a home of untold stories. In the headlines tonight.
Tonight, Mike Sonko locked out of the Mombasa gubernatorial race. Supreme Court dismisses Sonko's appeal on his impeachment. Also tonight, 6 people burnt alive in Machakos road accident.
Ile ni accident imefanyika hapa na vile gari imegonga ika-overturn na ikawaka moto.
Residents say rogue road contractor is to blame for the accident. Plus,
vijana mnarauka alfajiri, hakuna ya kulala. Siku hiyo mnakwenda kwa station pale, saa ile inafunguliwa mko pale.
Raila Odinga pitches tent in coast region.
Si mmesikia saa hii tena ameanza ile maneno yake? Chebukati sijui yako na shida gani? IEBC sijui iko shida gani?
As William Ruto charms Kiambu residents.
This is Friday. Welcome to the program. Mini Mbesa is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now to our top story. 6 people have died after a matatu they were traveling in collided head-on with a saloon car at Kwamajini area in Igathe, Machakos County. The 6 were burnt alive after a matatu burst into flames following the dawn accident. Paul Minu with more.
This was the situation near Kwamajini Bridge as locals tried to save lives. 6 people perished following the grisly road accident, with 11 others sustaining serious injuries.
Ile ni accident imefanyika hapa na vile gari imegonga ika-overturn na ikawaka moto. Sasa wale watu walikuwa wanajaribu kutoka, ikashindikana kutoka, wamechomekea hapo. Unaona watu wakitoka wanachomekea. Na kitu ya kushangaza zaidi ni kwamba Machakos County hapa kwetu Yata matu iko hapa, hatuna fire brigade.
The accident occurred after a 14-seater matatu collided with a saloon car and burst into flames moments before residents staged a demonstration to protest the delay in the completion of a bridge which they blame for a series of accidents.
Hatutavumilia watu wetu kuendelea kuishia hapa kama serikali haitatupromise kama itachukua hatua. Sisi tutafunga njia mpaka siku ile serikali itasikia kilio chetu.
The angry villagers led by local politicians later blocked the road for more than 2 hours, causing a huge traffic snarl up.
Mimi najua I am a contractor and I know hii kazi inafaa kuwa imeisha within the first 1 year alipoanza kazi. Kwa hivyo mimi ni maombi yangu kwamba sisi hii barabara tutafunga mpaka huyu contractor atolewe hapa.
Tumengojea ya kutosha, tumevumilia ya kutosha. Kwa hivyo tunataka huyo contractor atolewe kwa hii barabara, tuletewe mwingine atumalizie barabara.
They have issued the contractor with a 21-day ultimatum to complete the project, failure to which they demand he vacates the site and the contract given to someone else. Paul Muniu, TV 47.
Away from that, Deputy President William Ruto today took his campaigns to Kiambu County, traversing different parts of Kiambu County in hunt for votes. Ruto told off Azimio La Umoja One Kenya candidate Raila Odinga for what he said is holding the country hostage every electioneering period. The UDA flag bearer has asked his arch-rival to accept defeat and desist from causing chaos in the event he loses the presidential poll. The Kenya Kwanza brigade traded their guns against President Uhuru Kenyatta, asking him to keep off his succession politics. Wangi Maina has that report.
Friday, and Deputy President William Ruto, together with his running mate Igathe Gachagua, stormed Kiambu County in the company of other Kenya Kwanza leaders to popularize Ruto's State House bid, as well as the Kenya Kwanza economic model. Ruto combed through Limuru Town, Kimende, Roiro, Kiambu Town, Githogori, and Wangige. It is here where Ruto told off his main competitor for what he said is holding the country hostage every electioneering year. Ruto has told Raila to stop issuing demands to IEBC, as well as cautioning him against causing any mayhem in the event he loses the presidential poll.
Huyu mtu hawezi kulete fujo kwa hii Kenya. Kwani mnafikiri atalete fujo mimi nikiwa wapi? Mnanisikia? Hawezi. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Hii ukora yake kidogo kidogo. Si mmesikia saa hii tena ameanza ile maneno yake? Oh, Chebukati sijui yako na shida gani? IEBC sijui iko shida gani? Sijui register sijui iko na shida gani? Hataki manual register sijui anataka gani? Si ameanza ile lukumba yake? Mimi nimemwambia bwana kitendawili, wacha kusumbuana na Chebukati. Wacha kusumbuana na IEBC. Wachana na register. Wewe unashindana na mimi. Na mimi niko tayari kukabiliana na wewe mundu kumundu.
9 mwezi wa 8 hakuna serikali ya mkate nusu na hakuna handshake. Mtu akishindwa aende nyumbani, na kama kuna reli atang'oa, sio reli ya hapa Roiro, atang'oa ya kwake nyumbani.
The Kenya Kwanza brigade has asked President Uhuru Kenyatta to keep off his succession matrix and let the presidential contenders battle it out at the ballot without any interference from the state.
Nimemwambia tu rais, tafadhali my friend, wewe waachia mimi huyu mtu ya kitendawili. Mimi niangaliane na yae macho kwa macho. Ama namna gani? Si aniwachie huyu mtu ni si Uhuru aende nyumbani. Nimesikia rais akilalamika ati watu wanamwambia maliza uende. Sio sisi tunamwambia maliza aende. Si ni nyinyi mnamwambia? Wangapi wanamwambia Uhuru amalize aende? Sasa wewe rais unalalamika nini? Si ni wakati wako umefika? Si alijua miaka 10 itaisha? Kwani iko maneno imebadilika? Rais amalize aende.
The second in command has outlined his Marshall Plan that will create a ripple effect in creating millions of jobs for the jobless by revitalizing the manufacturing and value addition sectors on various goods and commodities. The Kenya Kwanza team has also promised to effect the 50 billion Hustler Fund, as well as stop the delocalization of teachers to far-flung areas. With exactly 25 days remaining before the August 9th general election, Deputy President William Ruto has continued to traverse different parts of Kiambu County, urging residents to turn out in large numbers and vote him in as the 5th president of Kenya. DP Ruto and Kenya Kwanza coalition promising to address issues facing Kenyans. Wangi Maina, TV 47 from Kiambu Town, Kiambu County.
Azimio One Kenya leaders today pitched tent at the coast region for the 4th day, taking their campaigns to Kilifi County. Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga promised to deal with corruption in the country and provide a long-lasting solution in addressing poverty in Kilifi County. Our reporter Patronila Gurin has more.
With 24 days to the general election, the Azimio Brigade pitched camp in Kilifi County for the 4th day in a bid to voters ahead of the August polls. Here Odinga promised residents that once elected, corruption will be a thing of the past. Besides, his government will address the key issues related to historical land injustice and poverty in the coastal region.
Wale jamaa wanaiba pesa zenu kila siku. Kila siku wanachukua mali ya umma wanaweka kwa mfuko yao binafsi. Tutazima hizo mianya zote pale ambao wanatumia kuiba pesa zenu. Nitakuwa na pesa ya kutosha ya kumudu hii mpango.
Mimi nawahakikishia hatutadhulumu yeyote, na hakuna mama ameita mtoto wake
mfisadi kama jina ya kubatizwa. Wewe ndio unachagua hiyo tabia. Na ukiichagua, uwe mtoto wangu, uwe dada yangu, uwe mpinzani, sheria ni moja katika Kenya.
Kuchaguliwa kwetu na kusimama na Raila Amolo Odinga, watu wa pwani nawaambia, kwa jina la Mwenyezi Mungu akitupatia uwezo na uhai, safari hii, muhula unaokuja, muhula wa Raila Amolo Odinga, shida za mashamba zitaingia katika kaburi za sahau.
Odinga further urged Kilifi electorates to trust him and his leadership, saying Kenyans are safe in his hands.
Taki kura hata moja ilale. Kura ambayo imelala ni kura ambayo imepigwa kwa adui.
Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, agenda kubwa yetu kama wana Kilifi ni hakikisha ya kwanza, kura ya kwanza ni ya Raila.
Tusiache mbachao kwa msala upitao. Kura yetu tumpe Raila Amolo Odinga.
However, he criticized his key opponent, Deputy President William Ruto, telling Kenyans to ignore him. According to Raila, Ruto lacks a clear vision for the country.
Wale jamaa watakuja hapa, najua wananifuata pale nimetoka, wanaingia na kuleta ile porojo yao ya propaganda yote. Msiwasikize. Manake wale jamaa mambo yao haiminiki. Yale ambao wanasema maneno ya unafiki.
The Azimio 4-day coastal tours finally come to an end, with their presidential candidate Raila Odinga reiterating that the coastal region is his stronghold and hence urging his supporters to turn out in large numbers to vote for him as the 5th president of the country in the August polls. Petronila Goren for TV47 from Kaloleni constituency in Kilifi County.
Thank you, Petronila, for that report. Moving on, the Jubilee Party Nairobi gubernatorial candidate Polycarp Igathe has today launched his much-anticipated manifesto ahead of the August polls. Igathe has made a number of promises to Nairobi residents, including ensuring all public places and schools in the county have Wi-Fi hotspots. The gubernatorial hopeful later proceeded on a campaign in Westlands where he rallied the Mulembe Nation to vote for him. Cheptoboit with more.
Nairobi gubernatorial candidate under the Jubilee ticket, Polycarp Igathe, has today launched his manifesto dubbed the Nairobi Challenge. In his manifesto, the gubernatorial hopeful has promised to create employment opportunities for the youth. He has at the same time vowed to launch a school feeding program for children living in informal settlements.
Environment area, where we ask that we hold us to account on 3 things: on clean water, proper sanitation and garbage collection, by building new water sources so that we can match the demand of the city.
Igathe later proceeded to Westlands, where leaders allied to the Azimio coalition drummed up support for his gubernatorial bid. The leaders lashed at Deputy President William Ruto, claiming he is disrespectful. Tomorrow, the Azimio Brigade will pitch tent in Westlands in a bid to consolidate the Mulembe vote. Cheptoboit, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta today received Guinea Bissau President Umaro Sissoco Embaló at State House in Nairobi. Embaló is in the country for a 3-day state visit. Now, the president was accorded a Guard of Honor by a Kenya Air Force troop and a 21-gun salute shortly after being received. The leaders later held a bilateral meeting where they signed a joint commission for cooperation between the two nations. They have also signed 2 memorandum of understanding that will allow political and diplomatic consultations and diplomatic research between the the two nations.
First is the establishment of political and diplomatic consultations and diplomatic and training research between our two countries. So therefore, our respective ministries of foreign affairs should use these two MOUs to expeditiously implement agreed areas of cooperation, consultation, and indeed on the date for the holding of the inaugural session of the JCC. And this will create the requisite momentum for us to build our bilateral relations, for which I am optimistic that we can leverage the existing platforms to share the dividends that will accrue from this relationship.
Away from that, 4 suspected members of the outlawed Nakuru City County Confirm gang were gunned down Friday morning after they attempted to attack police officers on patrol. Nakuru County Police Commander Peter Mwanzo said that the suspected criminals were killed in Kwamaiko village within Barut location of Nakuru West. Chichi Josephine reports.
According to the Nakuru County Police Commander Peter Mwanzo, the 4 were killed in Kwamaiko village during a patrol by the officers who were in civilian clothes.
They spotted some young men who are maybe possibly waylaying anybody by the roadside, and because my officers were not in uniform at that time, they opted to attack the officers without knowledge, and the officers fired in the air as a warning shot for them to surrender.
The suspects are said to have called for backup from their accomplices in a nearby hideout, after which a shootout ensued.
After realizing that these are security officers, they raised an alarm by themselves, in other words, calling for the other gang members, who also came out with bows and arrows, and they were now shooting at officers. The officers also, the operation was big, so other officers joined in. I understand this is a Nyuki gang group of the Confirm, the bigger umbrella of Confirm. So police perfectly were able to do what they were supposed to do, and some of them were fatally injured. 4 were fatally injured.
Patrol officers raided the hideout and recovered drugs, weapons, SIM cards and mobile phones from the criminals.
Na kuna mishale 30. Hii mishale yote tuliweza kuipata, ilikuwa na wao. Wale walianguka chini, tuliweza kurecover hizi zote. Na hata pia ndani ya hicho chumba kuna SIM cards. Where the SIM cards? Na simu zile wanazotumia katika uhalifu wao. These 5 arrows are highly poisonous.
Chichi Josephine, TV 47.
So we
Keep it Friday right here on TV 47 with me, Karen Karimi. We take a short break. We'll be right back.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent. I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
How well do you know stories?
Welcome back to Friday with me, Karen Karimi. Now, the Apex Court has maintained the High Court and Court of Appeal decisions upholding former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko's impeachment. The 7-judge bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome dismissed Sonko's appeal for lack of jurisdiction. And as Elizabeth Atieno reports, the move has locked Sonko out of the Mombasa gubernatorial race and future state jobs.
Former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko's 12-year political journey has come to an end. This is after the Supreme Court dismissed his appeal on the impeachment case after he called on the court to overturn Senate's decision to remove him from office on the 17th of December 2020. Sonko turned to the Supreme Court on the 1st of April this year as his last hope after the Court of Appeal and the High Court upheld his removal from office by the Senate and the Nairobi County Assembly on the 3rd of December 2020, where 88 Nairobi MCAs voted for his impeachment. The Supreme Court has maintained that its decision to dismiss the appeal is per Article 6 of the Constitution on Leadership and Integrity, which vests in the state officer the responsibility to serve the people rather than the power to rule them. In the appeal before the Supreme Court, the court listed 7 issues for determination. Among the issues raised were on the court's jurisdiction, quorum of Nairobi County Assembly and the Senate, public participation, fairness during Sonko's trial in Senate, quality of charges tabled at the Senate, and the implementation of sovereignty of the people. Upon thorough consideration, the Supreme Court has since upheld the High Court and Court of Appeal's decision to support Sonko's impeachment, stating that the due process was followed in the impeachment proceedings both at the Senate and Nairobi County Assembly. The Supreme Court's decision comes just a day after Sonko was cleared by IEBC to join the Mombasa gubernatorial race in the August polls. IEBC decision came after a 3-judge bench directive to clear him after overturning its earlier decision not allowing him to run. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Now, the IEBC has rejected all the 79 party lists submitted to it due to non-compliance on gender threshold. Chairperson Wafula Chebukati has given the party 7 days to comply with the requirements, failure to which the list will be deemed rejected. According to the IEBC, all the party lists were non-compliant. Mudhoni Maina with more.
Political parties have 7 days to comply with gender equity rule, with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission directing party officials to submit a new list of nominees within a week.
The political parties are required, as guided by law, to review the lists within 7 days from today and resubmit the said lists to the Commission on or before the 22nd July 2022.
According to IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati, all the 79 parties have failed to comply with the gender threshold as required by the law.
The Commission reviewed the submitted lists to ensure compliance. None of the submitted 79 party lists were compliant, and they stand rejected for various reasons documented for each respective party.
The political parties have until Friday next week to submit a new list, with the Commission now saying it will publish the list on newspapers, which will be open to scrutiny from the nominees or aggrieved parties presenting their grievances.
The political parties are required to comply with this requirement, failing which their party lists will be deemed rejected. Upon receipt of the revised list, the Commission will publish the lists in the newspapers and invite any complaints from aggrieved nominees.
IEBC is tasked with the responsibility of supervising the allocation of special seats in Parliament, according to Article 90 of the Constitution.
There's cases where you have candidates who are participating in this year's election also appearing on the lists. Now, the law does not allow candidates who are running to also appear on those party lists.
Mudhoni Maina, TV 47.
The Environment Court has barred the government from possessing 338 acres of Kenyatta University land. Justice Oscar Igathe issued the orders pending the hearing and determination of a case filed by the Law Society of Kenya, challenging the plans by the government to annex the land. Now, the government allocated the land to a proposed World Health Organization base and settlement of squatters. The National Lands Commission and Lands Cabinet Secretary Farida Karone are among the 6 respondents listed in the case. The institution's former Vice-Chancellor, Professor Paul Wainaina, is listed as an interested party in the case. The court has certified the matter as urgent. The case will be heard on 27th of July. Let's get sporty, and the 6th and last leg of the National Rugby Sevens circuit, the Kakamega Sevens, is expected to get underway this weekend at the Bull Ring Sports Grounds in Kakamega County, with changes on the fixture. Now, Kenyatta University side Black Blade replaced Mwamba RFC in Pool B after Mwamba withdrew from the tournament following the demise of their team manager, Stephanie Rose Otieno, earlier this week. Kabarak University will also replace Impala in Pool D of the top tier category. Siaya will take the place of Black Blade in Pool A of the Division 2 tournament, while Western Bulls 2 were slotted in Pool E following Siaya's transfer to Pool A. Meanwhile, Menengai Oilers will be targeting to extend their winning run after emerging victorious in the Prince Lou Sevens earlier last week, as they target to be crowned the overall champions. Now, the 12th leg of the Safaricom Golf Tour Series is to be held this weekend at the Kenya Air Force Golf Club in Nairobi. The competition comes barely a week after a successful tour in Nakuru, which recorded the highest turnout in the series, as the countdown for the grand finale begins with only 3 legs remaining. The tournament has attracted a field of 100 corporate golfers and 50 junior golfers. Come here.
Boa.